Hello, dwellers of the internet. Welcome back. Today, I have with me my brother, Nicholas.
Hello.
And today, we're going to talk about Precursor Orbs in the Jak and Daxter series.
They suck.
Yes, they do, most of the time. Probably because there's so many of them. In Jak and Daxter,
They're okay.
They're alright. They're pretty much everywhere. They're an abundant source of power cell fuel or power cell trading currency.
You trade 'em.
Yeah, they're meant for trading, and they're implemented into the game system pretty well. You can encounter them basically anywhere. They're all along the paths, they're in hidden spaces, they're in obvious places.
There's a lot of them, but they're not hard to find.
Yeah, there's around 2,000 of them in the first game. And what I wanted to talk about is not exactly how they're implemented in-game, but the weirdness of rarity that transitions from game to game of them. From Jak 1 to Jak 2, they go from 2,000 down to 286 in Jak 2, and the reason for this is because you travel to the future, and it's explained that the precursor artifacts that were once so abundant to Jak's past time have been lost to time, and there's rarer of them. There's a rarer amount of them, and they've increased in value because of that, so you get them as like rewards for side missions and different underground tasks and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then from Jak 2 to Jak 3,
Isn't there like a 400 increase?
they increased to about 400, but I think that kind of they go from 286 to 600, and I think this can be reasoned well enough because you have access to like 3 times the amount of areas in Jak 3 than you do in Jak 2.
That's true. And you're also in the desert,
Yeah.
where like there's that in that game
Mm-hmm.
it's said multiple times that there are a bunch of precursor artifacts
Yeah.
in the desert.
Not even just orbs, but just there's an abundance of them that are
You can
buried
even
out
find
there.
old power cells back there.
Yeah, old power cells and prisms and all kinds of shit that comes into play or doesn't later in the game.
Yeah.
But just, precursor artifacts in general. And
So it wouldn't be
so-
surprising that there's more orbs in the desert.
yeah, so it's not too much of a stretch to go from 286 to 600 within the span of one game, which is 1 year later, canonically, which gives you access to more of the world. But the issue then comes when you go from Jak 3 to Jak X Combat Racing. Now I shit you not. In one race, you can earn upwards of 5,000 Precursor Orbs per race. If you get first place on the very first event you take part in, you get 5,000 Precursor Orbs. If it's a main event, like a main race that you need to progress through the game, you get about 15,000.
Jesus.
Now, where the fuck... Now, people have tried to make this excuse that I've had this argument with before, because I have talked to people about it, and they say that, oh, well, you didn't have access to Crash City in Jak 3. And it's like, okay, well, one city. Let's figure there's about an even split, 300 to 300, between the 2 cities that we knew of in Jak 3, which were...
Haven City and Spargus City.
Yes, Haven City and Spargus City. Do you really think only one other separate city that is around the same size as Haven, because you can tell from the map, it's not any bigger than Haven practically, even if they have
It's gonna have
increased trade,
fucking-
you think they're gonna have more orbs than ever were present in Jak 1? They go from 2,000 to about 100,000 to 1,000,000. Do you know how many orbs you need for currency to buy everything in
Fuck,
Jak
dude.
X? We're talking... How many events are there? 160, 120. There's 4 cups, and there's 60 events per cup, which equals 240 events in total. 240 times 15,000 Precursor Orbs.
Jesus.
I don't even want to do the math on that, but I know
God.
it's a hell of a lot fucking more than were ever stated to be present in the world. And to me, this is pretty much the only issue with Jak X. I like everything else about it except for this. It kind of ruins the canonicity of Precursor Orbs.
How much did you say? 240?
Yeah, 240 events times, let's say...
Oh my god,
let's
that's
say
3,600,000.
3,600,000. Upwards of 3 million Precursor Orbs have to canonically be present in
one city.
In one city in Jak X. And
Shit.
And herein lies the problem. Now, like, granted, it's not too huge of an issue. I can still enjoy the game just fine. It's just one minute detail. They just decided to go from the system of earning Precursor Orbs for secrets that you would pay for, or just earn up to, from the secrets menu in Jak 2 and 3,
currency.
to making them into a main currency again, like they did in Jak 1, except now the amount has been quintupled even more. I don't know the number for going from 2,000 to 3 million. It's a shit ton is what it is, which is fucking crazy.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah, it is kind of insane. And, not too big of an issue, but just something I thought was weird and would be kind of cool to talk about. I mean, wouldn't you agree that is kind of a weird transition from game to game like that?
I mean, what would the explanation be, really?
See, I've tried to come up with an explanation, and the most accurate thing that's
maybe
that
maybe it's like super severe inflation.
Yeah.
To where one Precursor Orb is only worth about like a tenth of one.
Well, Jak X takes place a year after Jak 3. So like Jak 1 and 2 are the only ones that have a 2-year gap in between them.
Maybe Jak X.
So do you think the inflation could have gone from 600 to 3 million? Unless, let's... What if this is a poverty issue? Like, what if Haven City... Haven City has slums, but it also has a rich section of it. Like, Haven City is not just...
Like where the racing is.
Yeah, it's not just a poverty-stricken city. It has the slums that are distinctly separate.
Think about this. The slums in Jak 2 are where you get, like, most of your Precursor Orbs. Because the slums take up most of the map in Jak 2.
Yeah, that's true. You go to destroyed parts of the city, and you go out to the pumping station, and you go to a lost Precursor temple and all that, which
so
are
maybe it's just because the majority of the city is in poverty that there's less of them in Jak 2.
That would make sense, but for there to be such a financial difference between one city and another that are literally next to each other on a map in Jak X. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
But it's a map that consists of 4 big cities, and it's not even 4 cities, it's 3 cities and one, like, snowy mountainous range.
And they all connect.
And they all connect on one big island. I think it's one big island. It's 4 cities on an island, or, like, several islands that are relatively close to each other.
That's pretty insane.
But
like they're so close in capacity.
Like how
but one is in like extreme poverty and the other has 3 million orbs.
Like how the fuck does the transition in currency or does trade work?
Now maybe
how does trade
think
work?
About this. Maybe it's like cities aren't the same as cities in like America or just in general of the world that we know.
Yeah.
Where a city could be not a nation or its own independent like entity, but they have different conversions.
Like different values for different currency.
Different values of Precursor Orbs. So there's that explains like the amount. But what it doesn't explain is where did the 3 million orbs come from?
Yeah, I mean it's not like you're going from America to Mexico, and you're trading American currency for Mexican currency, which is worth less, and there's different values of them. We're talking about the same currency here, which is Precursor Orbs.
And even if they did have different values, that doesn't change
the quantity.
That
doesn't change the quantity. Like you can use American currency in Mexico, and it is worth more because you're there, and there's more of a value that's placed on it for different shit.
Think about this. Think about this. There's less Precursor Orbs in Jak 2 and 3. But they're worth more than the abundance of Precursor Orbs in Jak X, because in Jak X, they're not real orbs. They're fake.
They're fake orbs.
They're manufactured orbs that are made to look like the old Precursor Orbs because they were a currency.
You know what? This is a good headcanon that I might actually be able to accept, because in in Jack 2 and 3, you're paying for essentially cheats, which are like god mode abilities. Like, if you were to canonize these, I would say you somehow became so in tuned with eco power that you were able to then cheat at life and harness the ultimate power of invulnerability and unlimited dark jack and light jack and unlimited eco ammunition, which would explain...
Which would make sense if you were in tune with eco.
Which would explain the value of Precursor Orbs being real in Jack 2 and 3, because you're able to pay for these godlike powers.
Because we've already explained the amount difference between 2 and 3 is because the map is bigger and there's more areas to explore.
That's true. And what do you pay for in Jack X? Car parts.
Nothing to do... nothing... I mean, there's eco involved, but...
Yeah.
You're buying cars.
You're buying cars and you're buying parts for... You're buying antennas and you're buying helmets for your characters, which are severely overpriced. So, then that would also make sense. That would tie into using fake Precursor Orbs.
The Precursor Orbs in Jack X aren't real.
Yeah, you know what? I think we just solved this problem.
I figured it out. I did it.
Yeah, you did. Good job. See, this is why I have a co-host with me, so we can talk about this shit and eventually get down to the real issues and figure out a solution for them. That's my new canon. That fixes everything for me. The Precursor Orbs in Jack X are fake as shit. They are Monopoly money. Okay. Thanks for joining me, Nicholas. I hope to have you again here soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Alright, well... This is what fucking happens when I try to start a fucking video.